Hey guys, today we're going to talk about what happens if you get gas when you're doing the keto plan, okay? Or the people around you, your spouse is getting gas and it's gassing you out and you need to handle this, okay? So let's first discuss one of the problems, and that is if you have pre-existing digestive problems with your colon. The little colon cells normally should have little villi, they're little roots that are kind of an upside down plant where you have these roots that absorb the nutrients passing through the intestines and then absorb it right into the body. So many times you can have damage to these little villi and the villi is gone. So you just have this really rough, flat surface, in which case you don't absorb nutrients like you did before. So it prevents the combination of certain enzymes and food particles to break down to absorb into the cell. So we basically get undigested food particles in the intestines, okay? So that is a problem because that food will sit there and it will either rot or ferment. But for most of you watching, you're probably doing keto and you probably have seen some of my other videos and you're doing a lot of vegetables. So, but there are certain types of vegetables that are really more difficult to digest in the presence of an already damaged colon. So for those of you that have irritable bowel syndrome, celiac, diverticulitis, any type of bowel problems, watch the video down below that I just released so you can get the full magnitude of what I'm talking about and what vegetables to consume to get your fibers that are easy to break down. Okay, but the point is that you have very little digestion taking place. The food remains there and gets undigested, and then it ferments. Okay, when it ferments, you're going to get all sorts of problems with carbon dioxide gas, hydrogen gas, and methane gas, which has that odor. So we basically produce a lot of bloating. So bloating is gas, okay? So normally you have the stomach, which is very, very acidic, which activates certain enzymes to break down protein, okay, and kill microbes and help you absorb minerals. And then as it kind of goes right down in the small intestine, you have the help from the pancreas that releases enzymes and the gallbladder that releases bile. So altogether you have all these things happening to break down food so it can be absorbed through a lot of enzyme action but not bacterial action. The problem is you're going to get an overgrowth of bacteria, okay? And that bacteria can start invading the higher part of the small intestine and even the stomach. And this is where you get people that have the chronic halitosis or the kind of a yeasty bad breath. You know, that's what that is. It's like an overgrowth of the wrong bacteria. Not just bacteria, you have yeast, you have mold, you have candida, all sorts of overgrowths of microbes, okay? And a lot of different gases and certain toxins, which then can create auto-intoxication, which can be reabsorbed in certain parts of the digestive tract. So this is kind of what's happening. And it probably originates from initially taking antibiotics, which destroy some of the microbes and then cause your body to make more of the unfriendly, and definitely antacids, because when you lose the acidity of your stomach because you have heartburn and you're taking these antacids and you're losing that pH, then we get the overgrowth because there's nothing there to kill the microbes, okay? So again, you shouldn't have these microbes in the stomach or the top part of the small intestine. And also junk foods, and also as you age, you lose the stomach acids. And this is why it's so vital to have a very strong acidic stomach between 1 and 3, which is extremely acidic. And this is why I always recommend taking things like betaine hydrochloride or apple cider vinegar, or making sure even you have enough sea salt because sodium chloride helps build as a precursor the hydrochloric acid. So you can keep the stomach really, really strong to prevent that overgrowth of microbes coming up. Now, even when someone's pregnant, the fetus that's growing has basically no microbes in their colon, okay? So when they're born, they have no microbes and then suddenly have this massive rush of microbes that is supposed to come from the skin contact, also from what the baby consumes, like breast milk. And it's so vitally important for a baby to be breastfed because the microbes growing in the infant are really just dependent on what that baby is being fed. So breast milk has colostrum, which is amazing for the immune system. So if you're doing some infant formula, you're not going to develop the the strains of microbes that you need for the immune system and just for digestion. So I highly recommend, if you're a mother considering breastfeeding, you need to do it for sure. So if you're on keto, chances are it's not going to be the protein causing the gas or the fats. It's going to be the carbohydrates or the vegetables mainly, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to adjust the type of vegetables, and I put a link down below of what types that you need to switch to, and you're going to have to adjust the quantity. You're probably not going to be able to consume the 10 cups of salad that I consume each day, but you want to start with a smaller amount and gradually increase it over time, with the ideal situation of eventually having a lot more, okay? You can consume fermented vegetables and also some steamed vegetables. And I'm going to highly recommend that you actually make some homemade yogurt. Now, typically yogurt is fermented within 6 to 10 hours, okay? And it's left with a good amount of lactose, which is milk sugar, which is not good on the ketogenic diet. But there's a really good recipe, I'm going to put a link down below, that you can create your own homemade yogurt that takes 24 hours under about 110 degrees. That way, the microbes in that yogurt that ferment that lactose will pretty much consume all of the lactose. So at the end of this process, it'll be lactose free, yet you'll have all these amazing strains of microbes in huge quantities. And I'm going to recommend you consume some of that. And that's going to help build up the friendly bacteria in your gut. All right, thanks for watching. So I hope you're coming to the Keto Health Summit coming up in October. So I want to quickly comment on what we're going to do that's different from other conventions, okay? The problem with these other conventions is they give you information overload, okay? It's so much data that you're basically swimming in a sea of information. We're going to do things very differently. We're only going to cover the most important things that make a huge difference. Now, there are 3 very powerful strategies that we're going to be talking about at the summit that you will not find in any of my YouTube videos. Number 1 is on memory. I'm going to be showing you something very cool to dramatically increase your memory and concentration that's going to blow you away. And number 2, I'm going to show you how to increase your stress tolerance so you are completely calm all the time. All right? And number 3, and most importantly, if you have a slow metabolism, if you've dieted for a long time, and everything is kind of just really slow, I'm going to show you how to get complete control over your metabolism so you can literally turn up the dial as high as you want and control as much weight as you want to lose. And these 3 things are just a tiny bit of what you're going to learn in the summit. So click the link below, get signed up, and I will see you in October.